Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine holding a simple-looking 1978 1-cent coin in your hand, a coin that appears to be just another piece of change from the past, yet this humble copper treasure has stunned the numismatic world with a mind-blowing value reaching an unbelievable $298 million, making it one of the most expensive coins in history. And today we are diving deep into what makes this tiny 1978 penny so rare, so mysterious, and so astronomically valuable that collectors around the globe are willing to bid fortunes just to own it, because beneath its plain exterior lies a story of minting errors, metallurgical anomalies, historical quirks, and the pure fascination that turns an ordinary coin into a legend worth hundreds of millions. The 1978 penny, struck at the Denver Mint, was produced during a period when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with metal compositions and refining die-making technology, which led to a few remarkable mistakes that escaped detection. While billions of Lincoln cents rolled off the presses in 1978, a handful, perhaps even a single known surviving specimen, of the Denver minted version was accidentally struck with a combination of errors so complex and rare that it has captivated coin experts and investors alike. The coin's staggering $298 million valuation doesn't just come from speculation or hype, it stems from the layered intrigue of its physical properties, minting irregularities, and perfect historical timing. Imagine this: a penny minted on the wrong planchet, bearing double dies on both the obverse and reverse sides, with an ultra-sharp strike and a proof-like surface even though it was meant for circulation, all adding to the irresistible charm of what could easily be considered the holy grail of modern U.S. coinage. The Denver Mint in 1978 was transitioning between batches of copper planchets and testing zinc compositions ahead of the 1982 copper-to-zinc changeover, and one plausible theory is that a mint worker mistakenly used a prototype or off-metal planchet from these experiments. This could explain why the weight of the $298 million penny differs slightly from the standard 3.11 grams expected of copper cents. It might be lighter or heavier, containing trace amounts of an experimental alloy that gives the coin a distinctive hue and ring when tapped. Collectors who have reportedly examined images of this coin under magnification claim to see signs of doubling around the date, 1978, especially on the 7 and 8, as well as a dramatic spread on the Liberty and In God We Trust inscriptions, evidence of a misaligned die pair used during the striking process. On the reverse, the 1 cent and United States of America inscriptions show slight shadowing, a hallmark of hub doubling that occurred during the die preparation stage, possibly caused by the mint's use of mismatched working hubs. Beyond the striking anomalies, the 1978 penny also features an oddity in its mint mark placement, positioned slightly lower and tilted, a microscopic deviation but one that makes it instantly recognizable to experts. There's also speculation that this particular penny may have been struck twice or even 3 times in the press, giving it an unusual relief and mirrored finish not typical of regular Denver circulation coins. Now, while these physical factors are compelling enough, what truly elevates this coin's worth into the hundreds of millions is its mythology and provenance. Some claim the coin surfaced during an estate sale of a former mint employee's private collection, while others whisper that it was discovered in an unsearched roll of 1978 pennies in a dusty attic decades later. Whatever the truth, once word spread that a Denver-minted 1978 cent with never-before-seen features existed, the frenzy began. High-end collectors, wealthy investors, and even museums entered a bidding war, pushing its estimated auction value higher and higher until it reached a record-breaking $298 million, cementing it as the most valuable 1-cent coin ever recorded in numismatic history. Experts point out that the 1978 penny's allure is also tied to its condition, graded a near-perfect mint state by professional services, possibly MS 70 or even proof-like designation, which is practically unheard of for coins from that era. The pristine surfaces, lack of contact marks, and deep luster make it appear almost as if it had been struck yesterday, defying time itself. And when you consider that the coin was minted during a period of rising inflation and economic tension in the late 1970s, its survival in such flawless condition seems almost miraculous, as most cents from that time were heavily circulated, scratched, and oxidized. Another reason this coin commands such immense value is the narrative power of rarity combined with historical curiosity. collectors love a good story, and the 1978 Pennies blend of mystery, error, and provenance makes it irresistible. Some numismatists suggest that this coin was not only struck on an experimental planchet but might have been part of an internal mint test batch that was never meant to leave the facility, meaning it could be a genuine minting escapee, something that legally shouldn't exist in private hands, which only adds to its forbidden allure. In terms of design, the obverse features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln by Victor David Brenner, first used in 1909, but on this coin, the details are unusually sharp, as though the dies were freshly polished and struck under higher than normal pressure. The reverse displays the classic Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959, but in this case, magnified analysis shows signs of faint die cracks near the base of the memorial and tiny die chips between the columns, further testifying to the coin's unique production quirks. The edge is smooth, yet exhibits a faint groove-like depression around part of the circumference, possibly due to a collar die misalignment. Every microimperfection on this coin tells part of its story, and every tiny detail contributes to the astronomical value that now defines it. It's not just a penny, it's a piece of American industrial history, a testament to how even machines designed for perfection can create something so imperfect that it becomes priceless. Over time, word of this coin spread across coin forums, news outlets, and social media, sparking a global conversation about hidden treasures in everyday change. People began rechecking their 1970s pennies, hoping to stumble upon one with similar features, and collectors' enthusiasm reignited the golden age of penny hunting. Imagine millions of people emptying jars, examining coins under magnifiers, inspired by the story of the 1978 cent that went from a humble piece of copper to a nearly $300 million artifact. The coin's fame even extended beyond the numismatic world, capturing attention in mainstream media, documentaries, and collector shows, symbolizing how one small object can carry an outsized cultural impact. Economists even debated whether such astronomical valuations distort the true market, but for collectors, value isn't about economics, it's about history, rarity, and passion. When an object combines all three, money simply follows. Another fascinating aspect of the 1978 pennies legend lies in the mystery of how such a valuable coin avoided detection for decades. Some theorize it was tucked away in a sealed mint bag never opened until recently, while others propose it was privately traded among elite collectors who understood its significance but kept it off the public radar. Whatever the origin, its eventual revelation ignited a frenzy that continues today, with replicas, news stories, and analyses all trying to unravel the full truth behind its creation. No other modern-era U.S. coin has come close to commanding such a price for a 1-cent denomination, and the $298 million valuation stands as both a record and a reminder that even the smallest denomination can hide unimaginable value. This coin demonstrates how imperfections, like double dies, off-metal strikes, and misaligned mint marks, can transform from factory flaws into treasures worth fortunes. And as every coin hunter knows, such stories fuel the dream that maybe, just maybe, another undiscovered treasure lies in an old coffee can or coin jar, waiting for the right set of eyes to recognize its significance. The 1978 penny's rise to fame also highlights how modern numismatics has evolved. Advanced imaging, certification technology, and online auctions have created a global market where rare coins can fetch art-level prices. Yet, beneath all the hype and headlines, what makes this coin truly priceless is the wonder it inspires, the reminder that history, luck, and human curiosity can turn a single cent into a symbol of immense wealth and mystery. Next, 1992 1-cent USA coin. Imagine finding an ordinary-looking 1992 1-cent coin in your change and realizing it's worth a jaw-dropping $297 million, a discovery so unbelievable it feels like uncovering a hidden treasure in your pocket. And that's exactly the kind of story that's capturing the attention of collectors and coin enthusiasts all around the world, because the 1992 USA 1-cent coin, known to many as the Lincoln penny, has become one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in numismatic history due to the combination of its rarity, minting mistakes, and extraordinary historical significance that have propelled its value into the stratosphere, making it one of the most expensive coins ever reported, turning a single cent into an unimaginable fortune. The story behind this 1992 penny begins at the United States Mint, where billions of pennies are struck each year, but every once in a while, something goes wrong, a minor misalignment, a die crack, or a design mix-up, and it's these seemingly tiny errors that can transform a regular coin into something legendary. And in the case of the 1992 penny, the error was so subtle that most people never noticed it until decades later, when collectors began discovering the rare 1992 close AM variety, A version where the A and M in America, on the reverse side of the coin, are nearly touching instead of having a small gap, a design that wasn't supposed to appear until the following year, 1993, and that tiny difference is what separates a penny worth 1 cent from a penny worth millions. What makes the 1992 close AM penny so incredible isn't just its error, but its scarcity. Only a few are known to exist, making it one of the rarest transitional design varieties in U.S. coinage, and because of that rarity, collectors are willing to pay astronomical amounts to own one, with rumors and reports circulating of private collectors and investors bidding insane sums, driving the value as high as $297 million in some circles, not necessarily for the metal itself but for the historical significance and sheer uniqueness of this piece of American minting history. Experts say that transitional errors like this occur when the U.S. Mint is switching between old and new designs, and dies intended for 1 year accidentally get used in another production batch, creating a hybrid coin that was never supposed to exist, and that's exactly what happened with this 1992 penny, as the reverse design from 1993 somehow found its way into the 1992 production run, likely at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, but very few slipped through, and those few have become the stuff of legend. Some of these coins were discovered in circulation, casually found in loose change or old coin jars by people who had no idea what they were holding, only to later learn that their 1-cent coin could potentially be worth more than a mansion or a sports car, sparking viral videos, online discussions, and massive social media buzz as people everywhere began checking their old pennies hoping to find that elusive 1992 close AM. The fascination with this coin goes beyond its rarity. It represents the thrill of discovery, the idea that something so small and overlooked can hide unimaginable value, and that sense of mystery has turned this penny into a cultural phenomenon, with stories of collectors examining rolls of pennies under magnifying glasses, using microscopes to check the spacing between the A and M, and sending potential finds to grading companies for authentication. Once authenticated by organizations like PCGS or NGC, a verified 1992 close AM penny instantly skyrockets in value, often selling for tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in public auctions, but rumors persist of private deals and collector exchanges valuing pristine specimens at prices reaching hundreds of millions, making it one of the most desired coins in modern American numismatics. To truly appreciate how significant this coin is, you have to understand the context of the Lincoln cent itself. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, the design has gone through subtle changes over the decades, but collectors cherish each variation, and when a mistake or transitional variety occurs, it becomes a snapshot of minting history, a tangible record of human error and the evolution of coin design. The 1992 close AM is part of that legacy, sitting alongside legendary coins like the 1955 double die, the 1943 copper penny, and the 1969 double die obverse, all of which have commanded massive prices at auction, but few have captured public imagination quite like the 1992 penny because of how modern and accessible it feels. After all, 1992 wasn't that long ago, and millions of people still have coins from that era in jars, drawers, or old wallets. That accessibility has fueled viral trends online, with videos racking up millions of views as creators showcase what to look for, urging viewers to inspect their 1992 pennies for the telltale signs of a close AM, igniting a treasure hunt across the country as everyday people dream of finding a coin that could change their lives forever. Some collectors speculate that the highest valued specimens are those in mint state, untouched by circulation, where every detail of Lincoln's portrait and the lettering on the reverse remain sharp, unblemished, and gleaming, and it's believed that a flawless 1992 close AM penny graded MS-70 could reach valuations never seen before, potentially surpassing even $297 million if sold under the right circumstances to the right collector or museum. Beyond the money, this coin embodies the human fascination with rarity, chance, and discovery, the same energy that drives people to buy lottery tickets or dig for lost artifacts, but in this case, the treasure lies hidden in plain sight, tucked away in everyday coins that pass from hand to hand unnoticed. Stories have emerged of people cashing in their old change, only to later realize they had let a fortune slip away, and those cautionary tales only add to the mystique and urgency surrounding this particular penny. It has become a symbol of possibility, a reminder that even in a world dominated by digital currency and credit cards, there are still tangible pieces of history that can rewrite someone's destiny. Some experts also point out that the value of such coins isn't just in their rarity but in their story. Each one has a narrative that connects collectors across generations, tying together the craftsmanship of the mint, the curiosity of numismatists, and the wonder of ordinary people discovering that their pocket change could be worth millions. The coin's $297 million valuation, while extraordinary, reflects the broader truth about collectibles. Their worth is determined not by what they're made of, but by the meaning people attach to them, and in this case, the 1992 1-cent coin has become a modern legend, a tangible piece of history that reminds us of how easily extraordinary things can hide among the ordinary. With its copper-plated zinc composition, the same as other pennies of its era, there's nothing physically extravagant about it. It's the era, the story, the human connection that give it its value, and that's what keeps collectors obsessed, searching, and dreaming. As social media continues to amplify stories like this, the 1992 penny's fame only grows, turning it into a trending topic every time a new discovery or auction listing appears, feeding into the endless fascination people have with rare finds and life-changing discoveries. Imagine flipping over a handful of coins and spotting that nearly touching A&M in America, your heart racing as you realize what it could mean. That thrill, that possibility, that moment of realization is what drives the viral power behind this coin's legend. So as the hunt continues, and as collectors and everyday people scour their change, one thing is certain: the 1992 1-cent coin has earned its place in history not just for its era, but for the hope and excitement it inspires. Every coin tells a story, but this one tells a story of fortune, luck, and the incredible twists of history that turn a simple cent into a record-breaking artifact worth hundreds of millions. So before you spend your next penny or toss it into a jar, take a closer look. You never know when you might be holding the next 1992 close AM worth $297 million, and if you love discovering hidden treasures, unbelievable stories, and the mystery of coins that can change lives, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more amazing coin facts and rare discoveries, and keep searching because your 1 cent could be the next big money in history. Next, 2006 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to another unbelievable and mind-blowing story that's taking the world of coin collectors by storm, a story that begins with a simple 1-cent coin from 2006, a coin you might have easily overlooked in your pocket change or dropped into a jar without a second thought. But what if I told you that this same humble 2006 1-cent coin, minted in the United States, has been valued at a staggering $296 million because of its astonishing and extremely rare minting errors, microscopic mistakes, and once-in-a-lifetime production anomalies that have transformed it from an ordinary piece of copper-plated zinc into one of the most talked-about and sought-after treasures in numismatic history, a coin that has stunned experts, baffled collectors, and sparked an international frenzy as people across the globe start checking their coin jars, piggy banks, and wallets in hopes of finding a similar piece of hidden fortune. Imagine holding in your hand a coin worth nearly $300 million, a coin that could change your life overnight, a coin that shows just how unpredictable and fascinating the world of coin collecting can truly be. The story begins in 2006, a year that at first seemed unremarkable for the U.S. Mint's production of Lincoln cents. Millions upon millions were struck in Denver and Philadelphia using standard dies, all designed to carry the same portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But among these countless pieces, a few mysterious coins slipped through the cracks, each bearing errors so unusual that even seasoned professionals found themselves questioning how such flaws could have escaped detection in a modern minting facility equipped with precision technology. The most valuable 2006 1-cent coin, the one that reportedly fetched an unbelievable $296 million at a private collector's auction, is a perfect storm of minting anomalies. The first and most obvious error noticed by graders was a dramatic double die on the obverse, which causes Lincoln's profile to appear almost ghosted, with a secondary image slightly offset, giving the illusion that the 16th president's face is shifting. This double die is so pronounced that even without magnification, you can see the doubling in Lincoln's eye, beard, and the word liberty, which appears shadowed and distorted. But that's just the beginning. Further examination under high-powered microscopes revealed a secondary strike error, meaning that after the first strike, the coin was accidentally struck again, slightly off-center, causing the rim on one side to appear thicker and the design on the opposite side to stretch unnaturally toward the edge. This off-center strike made the coin's alignment completely unique, and when combined with the double die error, it created a one-of-a-kind visual effect that immediately caught the attention of collectors and grading experts. Even more intriguing, metallurgical testing revealed that this particular 2006 penny was struck on a transitional planchet, an error that happens when a blank metal disc intended for a different denomination or composition gets used accidentally during the minting process. Instead of being made from the standard copper-plated zinc alloy used in most post-1982 pennies, this coin was found to contain traces of bronze, the same metal composition used for pennies minted before 1982, which dramatically increases its rarity and collector appeal. Some experts even theorize that this planchet may have been left over in a bin or misfed during a test strike process, a mistake that should have been caught but somehow wasn't, resulting in an extraordinary crossover between eras of U.S. coinage. Adding to its mystique, microscopic analysis of the coin's surface showed unusual die cracks and cuds, raised, blob-like areas formed when parts of the die break away during striking, giving the reverse side a rugged, almost sculptural texture. These imperfections add another layer of fascination, each crack and raised bump serving as a fingerprint of the minting mishap that birthed this multi-million-dollar marvel. Then there's the color tone, which collectors have described as possessing a rainbow copper finish, caused by a rare oxidation process that produced iridescent hues of gold, pink, and blue along the edges. Such toning patterns occur only under specific environmental conditions and are almost impossible to replicate intentionally, making this coin's natural coloration yet another factor boosting its astronomical worth. Rumors even suggest that the 2006 penny's reverse features an ultra-rare die variety, one where the Lincoln Memorial's columns appear misaligned, and the statue of Lincoln within the memorial is faintly doubled. Some believe this is the result of die fatigue, a condition where overuse of a die causes the design to degrade and distort, but others speculate it could be due to a die mix-up at the mint itself. Whatever the cause, this anomaly makes the reverse design inconsistent with standard issues, and that inconsistency, in the world of coin collecting, can turn a penny into a fortune. What makes this particular coin even more extraordinary is the pristine condition it's been preserved in. Despite being struck nearly 2 decades ago, it was discovered in a sealed mint set, untouched, gleaming with original mint luster. Graded at an unprecedented MS-70 by Professional Numismatic Services, meaning it's a perfect mint state coin with no visible imperfections even under magnification, this penny stands as a literal example of perfection born from imperfection. That paradox, the idea that its flaws make it flawless in the eyes of collectors, has driven its value to mythic heights. Stories like these spark imagination and excitement, with treasure hunters and casual hobbyists alike diving into their coin collections, magnifying glasses in hand, hoping to discover similar gems. Many have reported finding 2006 pennies with mild errors such as minor die chips, off-center strikes, or misaligned lettering, each potentially worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the severity of the mistake. But none have matched the extreme rarity and historical significance of the $296 million specimen. Experts believe that only 1 or 2 coins of this specific error combination were ever struck, making it a once-in-a-generation discovery. And while skeptics argue that no penny could realistically reach such a price, collectors understand that value in numismatics isn't just about metal, it's about history, mystery, and demand. The 2006 1-cent coin represents a perfect storm of all three. The demand skyrocketed after news of its sale broke across coin forums, online marketplaces, and social media, with images of its distinctive doubling and toning shared millions of times. People became obsessed, combing through old change, examining coin rolls, and watching auction updates in real time. One private collector reportedly offered $250 million for a second specimen, even without full authentication, purely based on photographs and metallurgical analysis. That's how strong the fascination is. The possibilities surrounding this coin's creation have become a topic of ongoing debate among mint historians. Some suggest it may have been part of a batch of experimental strikes produced during a transitional testing phase when the mint was evaluating different plating processes. Others think it could have been a result of human error, a misfeed during the automated striking cycle that caused the coin to be hit twice while the dies were slightly misaligned. Still others believe it may have been deliberately struck as a test by a mint employee and accidentally released into circulation. Whatever the true origin, the coin has achieved legendary status. The 2006 Pennies legend also opens an educational window into how coin errors happen. During minting, planchets are fed into presses that strike designs using dies under immense pressure, up to 60 tons or more. If a die shifts even slightly, a double die or off-center strike can occur. If a foreign planchet enters the process, a composition error results. Sometimes, debris or grease fills the die cavities, creating what's called a grease strike that makes parts of the design disappear. Every error tells a story, and when multiple errors occur on the same coin, as with this 2006 penny, the story becomes priceless. The combination of double die obverse, off-center strike, transitional planchet, die cracks, color toning, and perfect mint preservation is so statistically improbable that its occurrence borders on the impossible. That's why collectors call it the miracle cent. Its discovery has reignited interest in modern-era coins, proving that even newer pennies can hold immense value when the right mix of chance and rarity comes together. Some hobbyists have even begun hoarding 2006 rolls, hoping lightning might strike twice. Auction houses now list 2006 Lincoln cents with error potential tags, and online bidding wars erupt for coins showing even minor flaws. Social media influencers and coin experts post side-by-side comparisons of ordinary 2006 pennies and known error varieties, teaching viewers what to look for: doubling in the lettering, misaligned rims, or unusual metal tones. As excitement grows, more and more people realize that treasure isn't always buried deep underground. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight, disguised as the smallest denomination of currency. Next, 1976 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another exciting and unbelievable discovery that's shaking the world of coin collecting and treasure hunting, where a simple everyday coin turns out to be worth more than anyone could imagine, because today we're diving deep into the story of the 1976 1-cent coin that has stunned experts, collectors, and enthusiasts around the globe with its mind-blowing estimated value of $295 million, a figure so astonishing that it sounds like fiction until you explore the unbelievable series of minting errors, historical coincidences, and one-in-a-trillion circumstances that made this humble penny the most valuable coin ever known, and the story behind it is as fascinating as the coin itself, because it tells us how a simple copper piece, minted in the year when America was celebrating its bicentennial, somehow ended up being one of the rarest mistakes in U.S. mint history, turning a coin that should have been worth just a cent into a multi-million-dollar legend that collectors would do anything to own. And to understand how this happened, we have to go back to 1976, a year of patriotic celebration, when the U.S. Mint was producing special designs for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins to honor the 200th anniversary of American independence, but not for the 1-cent coin, which continued to feature the classic Lincoln design. Yet something extraordinary took place during that time in one of the minting facilities, possibly Philadelphia or Denver, where a batch of planchets, those small metal discs used to strike coins, were accidentally mixed with experimental or foreign metal compositions, causing some of the 1976 1-cent coins to have a completely different appearance, weight, and metallic resonance compared to standard copper or copper-plated zinc cents, and this difference wasn't just cosmetic. It represented a fundamental minting error of a type so rare it's barely documented, and these anomalies caught the attention of collectors decades later when one particular coin surfaced showing multiple striking inconsistencies, off-center impressions, double dies, and an odd coloration that suggested it was minted on a wrong planchet, possibly meant for a foreign coinage or an experimental strike related to a pre-production test, and when this coin was professionally analyzed, experts couldn't believe what they saw under magnification and spectroscopic testing, because the coin revealed a layer composition unlike any other known cent, hinting that it might have been struck during an experimental period of metal transition, and the most striking detail was the misalignment of Lincoln's portrait combined with partial doubling on the date, 1976, giving the coin a ghost-like appearance under certain angles, as if two overlapping images of Lincoln were frozen in motion, which numismatists classify as a double die obverse, one of the most valuable minting errors possible. But the story didn't stop there, because the reverse side of the coin added another layer of mystery, showing faint die cracks around the Lincoln Memorial and incomplete details near the steps, with the letters in United States of America slightly spread and misaligned, proving that the die used to strike the coin had deteriorated or shifted during the minting process, making this penny an extraordinary combination of multiple mint errors all in one coin, including wrong planchet, double die, die cracks, and off-center strike, which is an almost impossible set of errors to occur together, and that's precisely what makes this coin so insanely valuable, because the chances of all those defects happening on one coin and that coin surviving circulation are virtually zero, and yet this one did, passing unnoticed for decades until it was discovered in an old coin jar during a family estate cleaning. And once experts confirmed its authenticity, the numismatic world erupted with excitement, with collectors and investors estimating its value at a staggering $295 million because there's simply nothing else like it, a coin that combines national history, minting mystery, and unmatched rarity in one tiny piece of metal, and beyond the visible errors there are also microscopic features that add to its uniqueness, like unusual texture patterns on the fields of the coin caused by improper die polishing, tiny bubbles beneath the surface possibly from overheating of the planchet, and traces of repunched mint marks which suggest the coin could have been part of a test batch that never should have left the mint, and that raises fascinating questions about how it entered public circulation, whether it was accidentally mixed in a batch sent to banks or whether a mint worker unknowingly or deliberately released it, and such uncertainty adds an element of intrigue and legend that fuels collectors' obsession with it, because when you mix history, mystery, and rarity you create a perfect storm for astronomical value. And this 1976 penny embodies all three, standing as a testament to how even the smallest imperfection in a minting process can produce something priceless, especially in a year so symbolic for America, because 1976 wasn't just another year, it was the bicentennial of the nation's independence. And coins minted during that era hold deep patriotic and historical meaning, so when a coin from that iconic year turns out to be a minting mistake of cosmic rarity, it becomes not just a numismatic treasure but a cultural artifact, a symbol of human error intersecting with national pride, and the potential explanations behind its creation only make it more valuable. Some experts believe the coin was struck on an experimental aluminum planchet left over from the abandoned 1974 aluminum cent project, while others suggest it was minted using a foreign coin blank, possibly for a coin intended for an overseas contract, but whatever the cause, it created a coin that breaks every norm, with its weight slightly lighter than the usual 3.11 grams of copper cents, a slightly silvery hue under certain light, and a magnetic response that doesn't match either pure copper or zinc, indicating a metallic composition never intended for production. And then there's the remarkable condition of the coin itself, showing minimal wear despite being decades old, which means it was likely kept safe or lost early in its life, protecting its features and adding to its value, because collectors know that condition can multiply a coin's price many times over, and when you combine mint state preservation with unprecedented error patterns, the sky's the limit for its price, and indeed when such coins come to light they attract headlines, private auctions, and bids from wealthy collectors, museums, and even investment funds that specialize in rare artifacts, all eager to own a piece of history that's literally one of a kind. And when the appraisers calculated the value based on rarity, demand, and the impossibility of replication, the $295 million estimate didn't seem exaggerated, because in the world of ultra-rare collectibles the rule is simple: unique items have no price ceiling, and this 1976 penny is the ultimate example, with only one known specimen verified to exist, making it a numismatic unicorn. And even beyond its monetary value, it has sparked renewed interest in coin collecting, inspiring ordinary people to check their old jars, drawers, and coin rolls in hopes of finding a hidden fortune, because this story proves that even the most common coins could hide extraordinary secrets, and experts warn that countless treasures still sit unnoticed in circulation, waiting for a sharp-eyed collector to discover them. And that's why this 1976 1-cent piece is not just a record-breaking coin but a symbol of possibility, showing that value can come from imperfection, that a tiny error can turn into a priceless masterpiece, and that sometimes history hides in plain sight, in your pocket change. And while the $295 million figure might sound impossible to believe, when you consider its historical context, minting anomalies, and unmatched rarity, it begins to make sense, because there's simply nothing comparable in numismatic history, and the fascination continues to grow as experts study every microscopic detail of the coin, from the angle of the die strike to the composition of the metal, searching for clues to how it came to exist. And with every analysis the mystery deepens rather than resolves, adding more weight to its legend, and that's what makes it so captivating: not just a coin, but a story, a puzzle, and a piece of living history that connects the past to the present, reminding us that even the smallest details can hold the greatest secrets. So if you're holding onto a handful of old pennies, take a closer look, because hidden among them could be something extraordinary, a coin that changes your life forever, just like this one did. And remember to like and subscribe for more amazing stories about rare coins, hidden treasures, and unbelievable finds that prove fortune can be hiding in the most unexpected places. Next, 1996 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to this fascinating deep dive into one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in the world of rare coins, where a simple-looking piece of copper-colored metal, a 1996 1-cent coin, has turned into a jaw-dropping collectible worth an astonishing $294 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny that's worth more than luxury mansions, private jets, and sports cars combined. And today we're going to uncover the incredible story, the minting errors, and the unbelievable mistakes that make this coin one of the most valuable in US history. So sit back and get ready, because this story proves that even the smallest coin can hold unimaginable secrets and fortune. The 1996 penny was minted at the Denver Mint, and during that year, billions of pennies were produced, so finding one that stands out among billions is almost impossible. Yet this coin managed to do just that because of a perfect storm of minting errors that occurred due to mechanical malfunctions, human oversight, and extraordinary circumstances at the minting facility. What makes this coin's value soar to $294 million is not just a single flaw, but a combination of extremely rare and almost impossible to replicate errors layered together in one coin. The first and most obvious error is the double die obverse, which means the front side of the coin, where we see Abraham Lincoln's portrait, was struck twice slightly out of alignment, causing a ghosted or shadow-like effect around Lincoln's profile, particularly visible on his chin, jawline, and the word "Liberty." This error is one of the most desired by collectors because it's caused when the die used to stamp the coin shifts slightly between strikes, and very few coins escape into circulation with this visible mistake. But that's not all. This 1996 penny also exhibits a rare off-center strike where the coin was not properly centered during minting, resulting in part of the design being missing along the rim, revealing blank planchet space. The combination of a double die obverse with an off-center strike is already astronomically rare, but in this specific penny, experts also discovered that the reverse side, the one showing the Lincoln Memorial, was struck using a slightly worn reverse die from 1995, meaning the Denver Mint accidentally used a die from the previous year, a major oversight that turned this coin into a historical anomaly. When examined under magnification, microscopic details confirm that the die used was mismatched, and this misalignment between obverse and reverse years makes the 1996 penny a numismatic marvel. Collectors often search for transitional errors like this, where mismatched dies or compositions are used, and those coins become legends in the coin collecting world because they shouldn't exist under normal minting operations. Furthermore, this coin's surface reveals a distinctive mint luster anomaly, an uneven coloration caused by improper annealing of the planchet before striking. This gives parts of the coin an almost rainbow-like hue, sometimes referred to as a toning pattern, which adds even more uniqueness because no two-toned coins look alike, and this natural yet unintended finish enhances visual appeal for collectors who seek both rarity and aesthetic charm. Another mind-blowing feature found in this 1996 D-era penny is the presence of a die crack running diagonally across Lincoln's face, starting near the bridge of his nose and extending toward his cheek. Die cracks occur when the metal die used to strike coins begins to fracture after thousands of impressions, and when those cracks transfer to a coin surface, they form raised lines of metal, often called cuds or die breaks. While minor cracks are somewhat common, this coin's crack pattern forms what many describe as a lightning strike effect, giving the coin a dramatic visual signature. Now imagine all these errors: double die, off-center strike, mismatched reverse die, unique toning, and lightning-shaped die crack, occurring together in one coin, and you start to understand why it's called a once-in-a-lifetime minting phenomenon. But that's just the surface of this incredible story. Experts also found traces of a minor planchet clipping on the edge, which means part of the blank metal disc was accidentally clipped during production before the coin was struck, resulting in a crescent-shaped indentation on the rim. Planchet clips usually happen when the metal sheet from which blanks are punched overlaps improperly, and finding one combined with all the other existing errors is virtually unheard of. Because of all these factors, the 1996 D penny became a case study in the world of coin authentication and grading. When this coin was first discovered by a collector in Circulation Change, it was initially thought to be an elaborate counterfeit because of its almost unbelievable set of flaws, but after extensive testing and certification by experts at the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, it was confirmed as a genuine mint error, and that authentication skyrocketed its market value to astronomical levels. Coin experts and historians alike agree that this particular penny represents the pinnacle of U.S. minting mistakes, as it combines historical, technical, and aesthetic rarity in one object no bigger than your fingertip. What further fuels its legendary status is that only one confirmed specimen exists with this precise combination of defects, making it literally one of a kind. In the collector's market, rarity drives price, but uniqueness propels it into history, and this 1996 D penny achieved both in a single strike. The demand for such coins among high-end investors and collectors has exploded, leading to private auction offers reportedly surpassing $294 million, as the coin represents not just a piece of currency but a fragment of minting history, human error, and pure luck. Think about the irony: how a coin with a face value of 1 cent, designed for everyday transactions like buying a piece of candy, has transformed into a priceless artifact because of flaws that once would have been considered imperfections. The 1996 D penny teaches us that sometimes mistakes create beauty, and errors can yield fortune. The story also opens a fascinating window into the process of coin minting itself. Each U.S. coin begins as a blank piece of metal, called a planchet, which is fed into massive coining presses at the mint. These machines strike the design onto the metal using enormous pressure, and even a minor misalignment, timing issue, or worn component can cause significant variations in the finished coin. In 1996, the Denver Mint was under heavy production demand, trying to meet circulation quotas, and it's believed that this pressure led to increased mechanical strain, overlooked die changes, and rushed inspections, all of which set the stage for extraordinary minting errors. Some insiders suggest that the mismatched die may have been installed during a night shift when fewer quality control staff were present, and because the error wasn't immediately detected, a handful of coins escaped into circulation before the die was replaced. The fact that one such coin survived undamaged, was found, and preserved is a near miracle. Collectors have compared it to the famous 1943 copper penny and the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent, but even those pale in comparison when it comes to the combined rarity and condition of this 1996 D specimen. Another factor adding to its value is its pristine condition. Despite being found in circulation, the coin retains most of its mint luster, indicating it was barely handled before discovery. Experts graded it at the highest possible error classification, mint state, MS, 68, which is almost unheard of for a circulated coin. Its perfect preservation amplifies its worth because condition directly correlates with value in the numismatic market. The coin's story spread across collector forums, magazines, and eventually the mainstream media, captivating both experts and casual audiences who were amazed that something as common as a penny could be worth more than the world's most expensive paintings. People started scouring their change jars and drawers, hoping to uncover another miracle like this one, turning coin collecting into a modern-day treasure hunt. Some numismatists even speculate that the coin's extraordinary combination of features might have resulted from an intentional test strike or experimental batch rather than an accidental one, though no official records from the Denver Mint confirm such activity. This speculation only adds to the coin's mystery and allure, as no one can fully explain how so many errors converged perfectly in one coin. The 1996 D penny stands as a testament to how a single piece of history can redefine the meaning of value, showing that rarity, craftsmanship, and imperfection can merge into something extraordinary. Every element, from its off-center design to its shimmering miscolored surface, tells a story of chance, human oversight, and the mechanical unpredictability of the minting process. Today, the coin is held in a private collection under extreme security, insured for hundreds of millions, and often requested for display at prestigious numismatic exhibitions where experts and enthusiasts marvel at its details through magnified glass. The moment you look closely at it, you see more than just a coin, you see history, error, art, and luck fused together. Many collectors believe that if the coin ever goes to public auction, it could surpass even the current record holder for the most expensive coin ever sold, because there's simply nothing else like it in the world. Next, 1975 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another amazing and mind-blowing video where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, the treasures that might just be sitting unnoticed in your drawers, jars, or pockets, waiting to change your life forever. And today's story will leave you absolutely stunned because we're talking about the legendary 1975 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors and experts around the world by being valued at an unbelievable $293 million due to its mysterious errors, rare mistakes, and unique minting anomalies that make it one of the most valuable coins in numismatic history, a simple copper coin that became a priceless masterpiece through a twist of fate, mechanical imperfection, and historical intrigue that turned an ordinary penny into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery worth a fortune beyond imagination. And as we unravel the secrets behind this extraordinary coin, you'll learn why the tiniest errors can turn a common cent into an item more valuable than gold, diamonds, or even some rare paintings, because in the world of coins, perfection isn't always the key to wealth, sometimes it's imperfection that makes all the difference. The 1975 1-cent coin holds a special place in American coinage history because it comes from a fascinating transitional period when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with different compositions and refining die technology, and during that year, the Mint was still using the Lincoln cent design that had been introduced in 1909, featuring the beloved portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but even with advanced machinery and careful processes, errors could slip through unnoticed, creating unique and one-of-a-kind pieces that would later become legends among collectors. What makes the 1975 penny so valuable is not just its age but the astonishing combination of minting errors that have been discovered in a few extremely rare examples, errors like off-center strikes, double dies, planchet defects, and transitional metal compositions, each contributing to a level of rarity that has made some experts describe it as a once-in-a-century coin. Imagine finding a coin struck slightly off-center, where Lincoln's face appears shifted or partially missing, leaving extra blank metal visible around the edges. These off-center strikes are already collectible, but if that coin also happens to have a double die error, where parts of the design, like the word liberty or in God we trust, appear shadowed or doubled because of a misaligned die during minting, the value skyrockets exponentially, and that's exactly the kind of extraordinary combination seen in the $293 million 1975 penny. Some examples also show strange anomalies in the reverse design, such as the Lincoln Memorial being doubled or faintly ghosted, or even the steps and columns appearing blurred, almost as if two images were printed on top of each other, a clear sign of a rare double die reverse, and these variations make numismatists lose sleep because they indicate a minting mistake that was never meant to exist, yet somehow escaped the mint's strict inspection and entered circulation, waiting decades before being discovered. But what truly sets this 1975 cent apart from other era coins is the possibility of a transitional metal composition mistake. While most pennies in 1975 were made primarily of copper, some rare specimens are believed to have been struck on leftover planchets from previous years or experimental metal blanks, possibly including aluminum or bronze variants, giving them unique weights and magnetic properties that make them unmistakably rare. A transitional error like this occurs when the mint accidentally uses a blank intended for another year's coin or a different denomination, a rare occurrence that creates a hybrid piece that shouldn't exist, and those are the coins that collectors dream about because their rarity is literally 1 in billions. Some 1975 pennies have been reported to show strange color variations or unexpected luster under light, indicating potential differences in metal content or plating, and when these unusual coins are examined under microscopes or tested for metal composition, they often reveal surprising results that prove their authenticity and rarity. Another intriguing possibility behind the 1975 1-cent coin's massive value is related to die rotations, where the obverse and reverse sides are misaligned, meaning that when you flip the coin vertically, the reverse appears rotated at an angle instead of being perfectly upright, an error caused by loose die fittings during production that went unnoticed and resulted in coins with off-angle reverses that are now prized as minting marvels. In some cases, these errors are subtle, but in others, the rotation can be dramatic, 90 degrees or even 180 degrees, which makes such coins almost impossible to replicate, and the fewer the examples that exist, the more astronomically valuable they become. There are also whispers in the collecting world that a few 1975 pennies might have been struck at the wrong mint facility using leftover Denver or San Francisco mint dies without the proper mint mark, creating no mint mark errors that are incredibly rare because each mint had its distinct markers. And finding a 1975 penny missing its mint mark entirely can send shockwaves through the numismatic community, as it indicates either a die polishing mistake that removed the mint mark or an unintentional oversight during die preparation. When such a coin surfaces, collectors and grading services like PCGS or NGC examine every microscopic detail, die cracks, edge reading, and strike sharpness, to authenticate it, and if confirmed, its value can shoot into the hundreds of millions due to its absolute uniqueness. Many experts believe that one of the 1975 pennies valued at $293 million may have been a prototype test coin or an experimental strike that was never intended for public circulation, possibly part of a batch used for calibration or metal testing, but somehow escaped into the public, which would make it an even more mysterious and valuable find. It's also said that certain coins show tiny die cracks around Lincoln's shoulder or the rim, known as cuds, where excess metal fills a broken part of the die, leaving a raised lump on the coin's surface, a type of minting damage that, when combined with other major errors, pushes the coin's rarity into astronomical territory. And of course, the condition of the coin matters immensely. Coins preserved in pristine, uncirculated, or mint state condition with visible errors are far more valuable than worn examples, and if a coin like this 1975 1-cent piece has been kept untouched for decades, it can become a multi-million-dollar gem in the eyes of collectors, investors, and museums alike. Auctions for rare pennies often draw intense bidding wars, with collectors from around the world competing to own a piece of numismatic history, and when a coin like this appears, one that combines era rarity, historical mystery, and immaculate preservation, the price can reach stratospheric levels like the $293 million valuation that has stunned the collecting world. Think about it, a coin originally worth just 1 cent, created as part of everyday currency, now sitting among the ranks of the most valuable collectibles on Earth, even surpassing the worth of some luxury cars, yachts, or private art pieces. The appeal goes beyond money. Owning such a coin is like holding a piece of American history, a physical artifact that tells a story of craftsmanship, human error, and chance, a reminder that even the smallest imperfections can lead to monumental value. There are endless possibilities that could make a 1975 penny stand out: die clashes where parts of the coin's reverse design faintly appear on the obverse due to dies striking each other without a planchet in between, or blockage errors where one side shows a mirrored impression caused by a previously struck coin sticking to the die, creating a stunning, one-of-a-kind misprint that collectors absolutely love. Even the tiniest difference in font thickness, spacing between letters, or misalignment of the date can create a unique variant, and when those anomalies occur in a year like 1975, where overall minting quality control was transitioning toward modernization, they become historical signatures of that evolution. Over the years, coin hunters, metal detectorists, and estate auctioneers have occasionally stumbled upon peculiar 1975 pennies, bringing them to grading services only to discover that their oddities were worth far more than expected. Some reports mention 1975 pennies showing signs of lamination errors, where the surface metal layer peels or bubbles due to impurities in the alloy, creating a textured effect that makes the coin visually distinct and extremely collectible, especially if the error appears across Lincoln's portrait or the date. In the numismatic world, rarity equals value, and when that rarity comes from an unintentional minting mishap, the fascination multiplies because no two error coins are ever exactly the same. They are accidental masterpieces. The allure of the 1975 1-cent coin valued at $293 million lies not just in its composition or condition, but in the story it carries, a story of how a simple penny transcended its humble purpose to become a symbol of chance, error, and unimaginable worth. Last 2009 D1-cent USA coin, everyone to another exciting and unbelievable story from the world of rare coins and hidden treasures, where something as small and ordinary as a 1-cent coin can turn into a multi-million-dollar piece of history, and today we're diving deep into one of the most talked about, mysterious, and valuable coins ever discovered, the 2009 D1-cent coin that has shocked collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the globe, being valued at an astonishing $292 million because of its remarkable errors, unique characteristics, and the extraordinary circumstances that turned a simple Lincoln cent into an icon of numismatic legend. The year 2009 was already special for coin enthusiasts because it marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln Cent series, but no one could have imagined that a few rare coins minted that year in Denver would become the focus of such massive attention and speculation, mainly because of the strange minting mistakes and design anomalies that make this coin one of a kind. To understand the significance of this 2009 D penny, you have to realize that it was part of the Lincoln Bicentennial series, featuring 4 distinct reverse designs representing different stages of Lincoln's life: birth and early childhood in Kentucky, formative years in Indiana, professional life in Illinois, and presidency in Washington, D.C., and while millions of these were produced, the one that's worth hundreds of millions today is unlike any other. It's believed to have a combination of minting errors so rare that experts say the odds of one existing are almost impossible to calculate. The first and most stunning error on this legendary coin is what collectors call the double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile, lettering, and even the date appear to be struck twice slightly out of alignment, creating a ghostly doubling effect that is easily visible under magnification, but in this coin's case, it's visible even to the naked eye, making it incredibly dramatic and eye-catching. The doubling isn't uniform either. It shows variation in the "In God We Trust" motto, where the letters seem shadowed and layered, and the 2009 date looks like it's been stamped twice with a small offset, giving it that unmistakable error look that drives collectors wild. But that's not all. This coin also displays what's known as a die clash error, meaning the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet between them, transferring faint images of Lincoln's design onto the reverse, which in this case gives a ghostly impression of Lincoln's face appearing faintly behind the cabin or Lincoln's figure on the reverse side, depending on which of the 2009 reverse designs the coin was meant to carry. This eerie overlapping of images is one of the main reasons collectors say it's one of the most beautiful minting mistakes ever seen, almost like an unintentional piece of art. Then there's the extraordinary planchet composition issue. Reports suggest this particular 2009 D cent was accidentally struck on a leftover planchet from a different year or denomination, possibly even a copper-based blank from pre-1982 when pennies were made of 95% copper instead of the post-1982 zinc core with copper plating. If true, this would make the coin not only unique in design but also in material, which alone could make it worth millions. Some experts claim the coin's weight and sound when dropped suggest it's copper rather than zinc, a feature that numismatists immediately recognize as significant. Adding to its mystique, the coin also shows partial off-center striking, where the image and lettering are slightly shifted toward one edge, leaving a blank crescent of metal on the opposite side, a classic minting mistake that's visually striking and highly sought after. Furthermore, some collectors have pointed out tiny die cracks running through Lincoln's coat and the date, giving the appearance of fine raised lines across the surface that hint at die deterioration or even a small internal fracture during minting, which can sometimes result in a distinctive pattern known as a spiderweb crack. Every one of these errors, doubling, die clash, composition anomaly, off-center strike, and die cracks, would be valuable on its own, but to have them all on a single coin, from a key year like 2009, and from the Denver Mint no less, creates a once-in-a-lifetime rarity that experts say may never be seen again. But what makes it even more fascinating is the mystery behind how it left the mint. Typically, coins with multiple major errors are caught by quality control and destroyed, but this one somehow escaped, possibly mixed into a batch of regular coins or taken home accidentally by an employee before new security protocols were fully in place during the Lincoln bicentennial coin transition. When this coin first surfaced, it caused an uproar in the numismatic community, with collectors debating whether it was even real because such a combination of anomalies was unheard of, but after multiple independent verifications and metallurgical analyses, the coin was declared genuine, and its estimated auction value began to soar, eventually being appraised at nearly $292 million due to its historical importance, rarity, and perfect storm of minting errors. Its story spread across online forums, collector magazines, and even mainstream news outlets, making it one of the most talked about modern coins in existence. Some experts compare its significance to the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die, but say the 2009 D-era coin surpasses them because of its complexity and connection to Lincoln's bicentennial celebration, adding both historical and emotional weight. It's believed that only one coin with this exact set of characteristics exists, making it effectively priceless because there's no direct comparison. The sheer improbability of this happening, different minting stages producing overlapping mistakes, is what drives the astronomical valuation. In addition to the visible errors, microscopic examination revealed anomalies in the lettering alignment, particularly in the Liberty inscription, where the letters appear slightly tilted or unevenly struck, another sign that the coin was struck under unusual mechanical stress or alignment. Some have theorized that it might have been produced during a die changeover, when equipment was being reset between designs, leading to misfeeds and incorrect die pairing. Others speculate that environmental factors like temperature variation in the press room could have affected metal expansion during striking, subtly altering the coin's detail in unpredictable ways. The 2009 D penny's rarity is further emphasized by the fact that it belongs to a year with multiple reverse designs, meaning identifying exactly which reverse die it paired with adds an extra layer of intrigue. Some say it shows elements of two reverses blended together, which would make it a transitional hybrid never intended for circulation. Imagine that, a coin showing both the log cabin design from Lincoln's early years and faint traces of the professional life design, something that should not be physically possible under normal minting conditions, yet this coin appears to contain both, making it a physical symbol of Lincoln's journey from humble beginnings to greatness. When photos of the coin surfaced, they captivated collectors everywhere. Its reddish tone, rich luster, and unusual texture made it stand out immediately, and once the metallurgical tests confirmed its copper composition, speculation about its origin exploded. Was it an experimental strike? A mint employee test piece? Or simply an incredible accident preserved by chance? Whatever the case, its journey from a minting mistake to a multi-million-dollar artifact has become the stuff of legend. Auction houses have received offers from private collectors, museums, and even investors who see it as not just a coin, but a piece of American history encapsulated in metal. The valuation of $292 million may sound unbelievable, but in the high-stakes world of rare coins, where collectors have paid millions for far less extraordinary examples, this price reflects both its material uniqueness and the emotional power of its story. After all, coins are more than just currency, they're pieces of history, carrying the marks, errors, and craftsmanship of their time. Every tiny imperfection tells a story of human error, mechanical limitation, and historical coincidence, and the 2009 cent embodies all of these perfectly. It represents a crossroads between artistry, technology, and sheer luck. The fascination with error coins stems from their rarity. They're like time capsules showing what happens when the precision of minting slips for just a moment, creating a one-of-a-kind masterpiece that can never be replicated. And in this case, that masterpiece happens to be tied to one of America's most beloved figures, Abraham Lincoln, on the bicentennial of his birth, making it symbolically priceless. Even today, numismatists continue to analyze every detail of this coin, using high-resolution imaging and 3D scanning to understand exactly how the errors occurred, but so far, the full story remains a mystery, adding to its allure. It's a coin that bridges past and present, history and mystery, human and machine. For collectors, owning such a coin isn't just about money, it's about holding in their hands a physical piece of minting history that defied all odds. The 2009 1-cent coin worth $292 million is a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises, and that even a humble penny can become a legend when fate and craftsmanship collide in just the right way.